Attention all moms! Today's getting real. I'm going to talk to you about feeding your child in a way that really helps them develop a healthy relationship with food as a child and all throughout adulthood. What I share with you today is actually from the worldwide expert on childhood feeding named Ellen Satter. I'm going to leave a link to her website so you can check that out. She has a lot of great resources there if you want to learn more, and also some really great books as well. If you remember back to your own childhood days and how dinners were at your house, maybe you remember being part of the Clean Plate Club where you had to finish all the food that you took on your plate. Or maybe you remember being kind of pushed into eating things you rather didn't want to because kids are starving in Africa. Maybe you remember long food fights from your parents trying to get you to eat your vegetables, or having dessert withheld because you didn't finish all your food. Maybe the dinner table was a battleground of arguments. Maybe food was used as a punishment. If you misbehave, you're going to bed without supper. Or maybe food was used more as a reward. If you're good at the store, we'll go out for ice cream. Now, all these common experiences shape our relationship to food as an adult. As a general rule in psychology, we tend to repeat what we did in early days until that habit is broken or healed in some way. We can change these patterns, but it takes a lot of work and willingness and really being truthful with yourself. For example, if food was used as a reward from your childhood, you might still find yourself repeating some of those patterns today, feeling that you deserve treats and rewards for a really hard day. Maybe if food was used as a punishment, you find yourself punishing yourself either in the form of a really strict diet or in continuing to eat beyond the point of fullness because you feel like you're not deserving something better. It's a form of punishment. If you were a member of the Clean Plate Club, you might find it really hard to leave the table when food is left, even if you're really not feeling hungry. If meal times were a battleground in your family, you might find yourself every time you sit down to a meal feeling like you're eating really fast, or you're feeling indigestion, your body isn't really able to process or absorb everything that you're taking in because you're basically in a stress response from the early conditioning of the fights at the dinner table. Well, fortunately, with Ellen Satter's help, we've learned a lot since the days from the Clean Plate Club, and she's devised a very clear system that we can use to feed kids today that will really help them develop a healthier relationship with food as they grow into adulthood. The system is called the division of responsibility, and it basically says the parents have a job and the child has a job. It's the parents' job to provide the what, the when, and the where of eating, and it's the child's job to decide how much to eat and whether or not they want to eat. You can use these rules from when your child is about 2 years old up through adolescence. So you can kind of work with this all along the continuum as your child's growing up. And let me explain a little bit more about what each of those mean. Parents decide what to make and prepare the food. Now, their job is not to be a short order cook and, serve different meals to everybody's likes and dislikes, although they are sensitive to their child's likes and dislikes. But it's their job to provide a variety and balanced meals and to prepare that for the child. It's also their responsibility to set the when of the meals, because structure in childhood is very important. So they're kind of setting set meal times and set snack times that is pretty regular on a daily basis. So having three, regular breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then some snacks in between there. And it's pretty much at a set time where the child is expecting it each day. And you don't want to provide anything in between the meals and snacks except for water. So water is always okay, but no juices or different picking on things here and there between the meals and snacks. So keeping it really set to the when. It's also the parent's job to decide where meal times and snack times will take place. So ideally, you want this to be an environment without distractions. So turning off the TV and computers, everyone kind of sitting down together at the table and having a peaceful, nice meal together. So it's also the parent's job to provide the environment, so leaving arguments and battles for a time other than the dinner table, because again, that can lead to conditioning later on in life that isn't so good for you. Well, the child's job is to decide how much they're going to eat and if they're going to eat. Now, here's the thought about dessert, and this might seem a little foreign to most of you, but basically, if dessert is served, it actually can be served with the rest of the meal, so it's all eaten together. And that way the child can decide what order they actually want to eat the foods in. So this actually makes dessert not separate from the meal as something to be attained or punished with or rewarded with, but just, a regular part of the meal. And that really helps set aside the psychological issues we can get around sweet foods or dessert foods that set us up for overeating on them later in life. It's the child's job to decide how much they're going to eat of anything. So once you set out all the food on the table, it's their decision to decide how much they're going to eat. Now, when it comes to dessert, that's the one thing they're just allowed to have one serving of. But everything else, let them have as much as they want to have at that meal. So even if they haven't eaten their vegetables, if they want some more chicken, that's fine to go with that and trust that their bodies are doing the right thing for them. The child's other job is to decide whether they're going to eat or not. So if they refuse to eat their dinner, that's fine. Don't make a big deal of it, but also don't make them something else if they want to have something else. And trust that they won't starve. It's completely normal for them to go through picky stages. So just stick to your responsibilities of the what, the when, and the where, and let the child stick to their responsibilities of the how and whether. Now, if you already have children and have not been using these principles, don't panic. You can always start to change the rules, and you may have to do so gradually, but you can still, set up some of these responsibilities, even if it's something that your family hasn't been used to. And you probably want to check out Ellen Satter's website because it has a lot more resources and details for you to check out. But don't worry, it's never too late. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. I know it's probably different from what a lot of you have actually been raised on, and I would love to hear what you think of it. And if you've already been trying some of these strategies, I'd love to hear how it's going for you. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon.